There was only one time where when it went live, it went.
All right, we're live. Say hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back. Welcome back for part 3 of this series we ended up doing where we talked to Gemelli's trainers. This has been so much fun. It's been so much good information. It's really, really great to hear from them and find out how this program works and how the puppies are raised from babies and how they go through these 3 stages of training with Paws for Ability, which is the organization that we are getting Anna's service dog from. And Paws for Ability they're located up in Ohio. So many of you guys know we're going to be traveling pretty soon here to go pick up Anna's service dog up in Ohio. And I just want to mention, you're going to see our moderators posting in chat throughout the night a link to the Paws website for donations. So I just want to encourage people, if you are enjoying this series, if you've been enjoying listening to these trainers and these people that are doing these things. Oh, hold on. We have to make an adjustment. Sorry, my husband just let me know that we are on the wrong Facebook page. No big deal. Okay, A-team guys, we're going to move over to the main page, okay? We'll catch us over there. This is a quick fix. It's a quick fix. I will start over from the beginning. All right, bear with us, YouTube. We're going to add Facebook back in on the right Facebook page. We were on the wrong Facebook page. That happens when you have multiple Facebook pages. That would explain why the viewer count was so low. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for being here, YouTube. There's about 100 of you. That's exciting. We're trying to build up our YouTube this year. So if you don't mind, share our YouTube channel with your friends and try and get them to subscribe because we're trying to build up our YouTube count. Okay, so now we are live on both of the correct pages, the right Facebook page. So we'll give people a minute to come in and sit down because it takes a minute for people to get notifications and such. Here we go. So I just want to say thank you again to everyone for being here for this series. This is our 3rd live stream in the series of talking to the trainers, the people who have been helping raise and train Anna's service dog, Gemelli. And it's been really exciting to hear from them and hear about this process that these dogs go through with the organization we're getting Anna's service dog from, which is called Paws for Ability. They're located up in Ohio. And we've heard so far, we had a live stream with Terry, right? Yeah. She was the foster and trainer who was with Gemelli when she was a baby, and she takes her on the weekends now. Then we did Anna did a live yesterday with Abby, who was the phase 2 trainer who took Gemelli to college with her. So Gemelli got to go to college and learn all these wonderful things about being a dog and being a dog that is exposed to lots of different environments and lots of different stimulus so that she's not afraid of things. And then what happened was Gemelli graduated into the advanced training program, right? And that's where they decide, you know what, you've passed everything so far, and now you're going to work on being an official service dog. And so advanced training is what she's doing now, and that's how she's learning all of the amazing things that she's going to do to help Anna when she comes home with us. And so tonight we are going to meet a senior trainer at Paws for Ability, Emily, who is doing all of the advanced training with Gemelli. So just real quick before we bring Emily on, I want to tell you guys that our moderator, one of our moderators, Sharon, tonight, you're going to see her sharing links for the Paws for Ability website to encourage donations. If you guys are enjoying this series, if you're enjoying hearing from these people, they have a lot of volunteers, they have some paid trainers, they can always use more help. So we would encourage you, if you're enjoying this series, to please shoot over to the Paws for Ability website and give them a donation to help them continue doing this for other people. And the other thing I want to say real quick before I turn it over to Anna is that all the time, we're always encouraging you guys to spread. Click that white arrow and spread. And sometimes I see you guys saying that you can't find the arrow, or that, you do it, but people don't see it or whatever. So tonight I want to try something different. So if you're on right now, do me a favor while we're all getting settled in and try this new thing with me. I would like everyone to tag one person they know who might be interested in watching this live stream tonight. So you're going to tag someone by clicking, you're going to go into the comment box, you're going to type the @ symbol, and then you're going to start typing your friend's name. And you're going to see it pop up that you can click on their name. And then their name might light up blue. It'll say @ and their name, and it'll light up. And then you can click that comment in, and it will tag that person so that they see it and they'll say, oh, what's my friend doing? I'm going to go check it out. So let's try that. It might be a different way to spread the live around. So I'm going to turn it over to Anna for a second while I go share the link into the group, and then we're going to bring Emily on and say hi.
Nice. Everybody, I am excited. So tonight we are going to meet the Gemelli's third trainer, Emily. So I'm very excited to do this. Hey everybody! Hey Linda! Hey Wayne! Hey Michelle! Hey Erin! Hey Jan! Hey Marilyn! Hey Rana! Hey Jody! It's a lot of people on. I can't say every name. Too many names. Too many names for me to read every single one. Hey Rachel. Vicky says, did my tooth come out? It has not.
You can hear it bumping up against her tongue. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to introduce Emily? All right, guys. Let's bring her on. This is Emily. She's a senior trainer at Paws for Ability, and she's going to tell us all about her role.
Hi, Anna. So yeah, my name is Emily. I am a senior trainer at Paws for Ability. I've been there for about 5 years now. So it's been an amazing journey. I actually am from the Northeast, so I did not grow up in Ohio. I grew up in upstate New York, and when I went to college, I got my bachelor's degree in animal behavior. And while I was getting my bachelor's degree, you need a certain amount of internship credits. And I did my internship with a dog training company, and I actually met a woman there who had a service dog. And I talked a lot to her because I was not super educated back then, and I thought only guide dogs, so those types of dogs that help individuals who are blind, were the only type of service dog. And she started telling me all about her service dog and what that dog does for her, and I just knew that's what I had to do one day. So I lived in Maine for about 6 years. I worked at just a doggy daycare as their head trainer there to get my foot in the door. And then when I was kind of, ready to move on from the pet training, I decided to look into service dog agencies, and happened to stumble upon Paws. A lot of agencies, as I'm sure you guys know, don't provide service dogs to children with multiple disabilities. And that really struck me, that this agency was trying to fill a niche that no one else really was. So after a bunch of interviews, I got to go out and visit the center that you guys will be having class in. And I walked through the door and had that gut feeling that this is where I'm supposed to be. So my wonderful now husband packed up everything, and we left everyone we knew and loved behind, and we moved out to Ohio so I could start my job at Paws, and it's just been amazing ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have my first question here.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing to do with Gemelli while you had her?
Oh, my favorite thing. I really loved teaching her how to turn off and on lights. That's one of the harder commands for the dogs to learn, just because they have to jump up on the wall, use their nose to turn on the lights, and then also distinguish when they turn off the lights to use their paws. But Melly is just, all she wants to do is make her people happy. So that dog would not give up until she did it right. And once she did it right, you could just see the biggest smile on her face because she knew she finally got it. So that was probably my favorite thing to teach her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Emily, going back for a minute before we get into details about Gemelli, can we hear more about, like, how long have you been with Four Paws? What kind of like training, or how long did you have to do training, and how did you learn how to do all these great things that you teach the dogs?
Yeah. So like I said, I've been with Four Paws for 5 years. I started off as what we called a junior trainer. So I essentially worked underneath a more experienced trainer. And I learned how to train the dogs from my trainer. The nice thing about Four Paws is that it's very much a learn as you go position, because we train dogs differently than other agencies. So we want all of our employees to, train the dogs overall very similarly, so that when you guys come to class, all the dogs have been taught in the same exact way. So I was under another trainer for probably my first 3-ish months there. And then I got my first group of dogs that I was responsible for training. And from there, I think in my first year at Four Paws, I placed 18 dogs, which is, pretty impressive. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to place that many, but I did, and it was awesome. And then just from there, my passion for, training the dogs, working with the clients and teaching the classes grew. I was promoted to senior trainer, and I've been senior trainer for, I think, about 2 years now. So now, along with training the dogs, I get to lead classes. So your class lead for Chocolate Brown is Jessica. So she'll be with you guys the whole 9 days you're in class. So I get to do that with other classes as well. And yeah, so I really like to, Four Paws is you're never not learning something new, because the dogs always have something to teach you. And Four Paws is really tries to continue to educate their trainers as much as they can. And I love learning. So I really like, that aspect of my job as well.
Do you know how to train the dogs to do like all the different things, or do you just focus on mobility support?
Yeah, I know how to train them in pretty much everything that we offer at Four Paws. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
What are the different things that Four Paws can train a dog to help with? And as far as details about the mobility support itself, what are all the different things that you can train a dog in regard to mobility support?
Yeah, so I'll start with just what we train the dogs in overall. So we have our mobility support. We have seizure alert and detection dogs. So we actually use scent articles, so cotton t-shirts that the children have had seizures in. And we train the dogs to recognize the smell of a seizure just based on our training protocol for that. And what we'll see is a lot of times the dogs will recognize a seizure before it happens, to let the families know, hey, a seizure is coming, as well as when a seizure is actively happening, we teach the dogs to bark to let someone know, oh, my child is having a seizure. We train behavior disruption. So for when a child may be upset because of a medical procedure, or maybe they're stimming because they're a child with autism, we teach the dogs to go and disrupt that behavior. So they kind of say, hey, instead of feeling upset right now, why don't you pet me instead? And along with that, we teach deep pressure therapy. So when a dog lays across a child's legs, to help provide some sensory input for them. We also train tethering. So that allows some of our children who tend to wander or elope away from their families to stay safe by being anchored to their dog, essentially, and that we teach the dogs to stay in place and their child is free to wander rather than having to hold an adult's hand or ride in a stroller. And that's a really, really cool thing to see for some of these families that are used to, having a really tight grip on their child when they go to the grocery store. Now the dog is just acting as that safety net for the child. We train diabetic alert dogs. So very similar to our seizure alert dogs. They can help detect high and low blood pressure, blood sugar. We train dogs for veterans as well. They're much smaller than our children, population. And then we train search and rescue dogs. So we train the dogs to memorize a scent of our track layer. And when the families come to class, we transfer it over to the child. So essentially, the families have their own personal search and rescue dog for if their child were to run away or elope from home. And, that's really, really cool. And then for our mobility assistance dogs, I think Melly is doing pretty much anything under the sun for you, Miss Anna. So she is turning on and off lights. She's hitting handicap buttons. She's picking up things that you might drop on the ground. She is opening and closing doors and drawers and refrigerators for you. She is trained to bark for help. So whether you are maybe sitting on the couch and you need some help from somebody and you say help, she'll bark to let somebody know. If you were to fall, she'll bark to help let somebody know that you need help. Let's see, what else is she doing? She's doing balance support. So if you need to get help to get up off the ground or onto the ground, she'll help you get up from that. We've taught her that behind command, so you can feel a little bit more stable and safe when you are standing at the sink, maybe brushing your teeth. She will help you take on and off clothes, jacket, pants, socks. Those are just a few of her favorites. And something else that some of our dogs will do is actually help pull a wheelchair. So that can be really helpful when you're going up a ramp if, their handlers just arms are tired, or even just going, about the grocery store. If the handler just needs a break from wheeling themselves, the dogs can actually pull them in the wheelchair, which is a really cool one as well.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, that's just
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm tongue tied. That's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you're watching, please consider a donation to Paws. They're doing, I can't even tell you without crying. They're doing amazing things. And I hope they get to continue doing it for a long time. And you're right, Emily, that I did extensive research before applying for her service dog. And there were only like 3 organizations in the whole country that did service dogs for children with mobility needs.
Yep.
And a lot of people say, oh, you can get them for free from Canine for Companions, but Canine for Companions doesn't do mobility support.
Yeah.
So, you're very limited in what you can get, and you guys just fit every mark, every bill that we needed, every checkbox. It's just amazing. So do you want to ask a question? Do you have any questions? Because I know some people watching have questions
on here, and then a couple.
Well, how about then, before we get into questions, let's have Emily tell us all about your dog. All about her experience with Gemelli and her personality and how, what she thinks about her and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So Melly, to put it plainly, is just remarkable. All of our dogs are obviously very remarkable, but the big thing that we really try to do at Paws is train the dogs really, really specifically for the child and for what their needs are going to be. So, we as senior trainers spend a lot of time, looking at the dogs while they're out in foster, reading over the socialization reports our volunteer trainers fill out to just really gather a ton of information on the dogs, as well as watch your videos that you guys send in, your paperwork that your mom filled out just to tell us all about you and what you need, and really just get to know you guys as well as we can. And when we were, we got to know you, and when we were looking for a dog for you, Melly just stuck out. And within the first week of her being in training, I knew she was absolutely going to be perfect for you. She is very, very sweet. She's a little bit sensitive. She doesn't like to make mistakes very much at all, which has made it very, nice and easy for me to train her. The sweet, sensitive dogs are probably my favorite type of dog. And she's just so eager to learn and just to make her people happy. Like I said, so very quickly when I was working with her on all her different tasks, she picked up on them so quickly, because, well, she loves treats, and she loved that I was happy. She loved that I was telling her that she was a really good girl. I actually was talking to your mom a little bit about this, and we did something called body awareness training, to make sure that, you felt safe and that Melly understood where her body was in space so she wouldn't accidentally knock you down. Well, she got a little too good at body awareness training. So when I was trying to do some other things with her where I needed her to be a little bit close, she was like, oh, let me move my bottom away because I'm not supposed to, I'm supposed to move away from you to be aware of where I am in space. And it was that moment when I was like, wow, you are going to be an amazing service dog because you're exactly right. This is exactly what I taught you. And you retained this information super duper well. She's been really fun to teach different types of things too. So just to fit your needs with her retrieval, typically what we do is we have the dogs bring the item and place it kind of on their lap. But to make it easier for you, she's actually trained to go and bring the item and set it down on a table nearby so that you can take your time to grab the item. Not have to worry about her, dropping it in your lap and you don't have, a great grip on it. And it was fun for me because that's something I, as a trainer, have never done before. So once again, I got to learn something new. And, Melly picked up on it so quick and she's phenomenal at it. She likes to predict what you want next. So now, whenever I go to walk through our lobby area, she will automatically hit the handicap button, and I didn't even ask her to because she's like, oh, you're going to want me to have this door open for you. So she just goes and hits that handicap button for me. There's times too that I have not even said the word like door, which is the command to open the door. And it's like she reads my mind and she goes and does it and then looks back at me like, are you happy? So she is just been an absolute joy is just the best way to describe how training her has been. And I'm just so excited for you to meet her. I just know you guys are going to be inseparable, the best of friends, because you guys were made for each other, plain and simple.
Wow. How do you feel about that?
It's pretty cool.
You're gonna have a really good friend who's gonna help you with everything.
I will say she sometimes likes to try and pull my clothes off before I ask her to. So I have to roll up those sleeves you guys, it's hot where you live, but if you got a jacket on, if she sees a little bit of a jacket sometimes, she's like, oh, would you like me to take that off for you? Same thing with I'm trying to put my socks back on and she's like, oh no, but you want me to take those off for you, right? So she just wants to work and she just wants to make you happy. So I'm so ecstatic for you guys to meet.
Oh my gosh, how amazing. She just sounds like the most wonderful dog. Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a couple questions to ask you. The first one is, what is one piece of advice about Gemelli that I should know?
Oh, that's a really good question. Probably the biggest piece of advice that I can give you about Melly is just always give her lots of positive love and attention. She doesn't really make mistakes very often. And if she does, she definitely feels really sad about it, and will try really hard to fix it right away. So just the more that you can build her confidence, like, hey, yeah, that was the right decision. Or, I wasn't ready for you to pick up that item quite yet. But then really tell her when she does a good job, you guys will be inseparable from the beginning. She's just, all she wants to do is make you happy. And she gets a little sad when she makes a mistake. So sometimes she just needs a little confidence build up of, oh, okay, I did do it right this time.
So her love languages are words of affirmation.
Yes, ma'am. Tell her she's beautiful and perfect, and she will just thrive.
Oh, Anna's good at that. Every night when she goes to bed, she rattles off a list of about 20 things about her dad and I. You're amazing. You're strong. She's good at affirmation.
I love that. Then that's perfect. You don't even have to change anything. You can just add Melly into the mix.
Yeah.
The next question is, do you have any tips for me as a new service dog owner?
Oh, that's another really good question. So I think just the biggest tip to sometimes remember is she's still a dog. As amazing as these creatures are, and trust me, I forget it as a trainer sometimes. At the end of the day, she is a dog. So sometimes she's going to do silly things. Be like, what the heck are you doing? Oh, because you're a dog. And sometimes you're going to do silly things. Sometimes she might pick up a stick in the backyard because, she's a dog. Maybe you guys are at Disney World for the first time and she's like, I don't know how I feel about Goofy. Well, because she's like, I'm a dog. I don't understand those mascots. So, and like I said, there is days where I get caught up in just literally the magic of Paws that even me as a trainer who's been doing this for a while forgets that at the end of the day, they're still dogs. So if there's ever a time where she seems a little off, or maybe she's made a couple silly mistakes, just tell yourself she's amazing. But at the end of the day, she's still a dog.
She's a dog at any time.
Yes. That's a really good question, though, Anna.
Yeah.
One of the big questions that I noticed has been asked by viewers over the last few days, they're really curious about the work time versus free time and how that gets decided. And I think even going more into depth, they're like, well, shouldn't she be working all the time that Anna is awake? And how do you decide when she's working and not working? And then if she has the vest off and something happens, is she still going to work, or is she just going to be like, I'm off duty?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah. So when they're with us in training, they are pretty much working anytime we have them out, just because that's our jobs as trainers, to work them, get them ready for you guys. But once they are, placed with our clients, it's really kind of up to our clients and what their needs are. Whenever our dogs go in public and they got their vest on, their, gentle leader, their other equipment, they are always working. They're always in work mode. They know that public is not a time to just be a dog and be free. But in the homes, once again, it's super dependent on their needs. So for you, Anna, with Melly, she may be, just being a dog in the home, but then when it's, I dropped something on the ground, she's going to go into work mode. She's going to know that even though she's lounging about in the house, when you give her the command to go and pick something up off the ground, she understands, okay, it's time for me to work. Same thing with some of our seizure alert dogs. They may be just hanging out in the house, or it's bedtime and they're getting ready for bed, but their child starts to have a seizure. They're going to start to alert to a seizure. But it's really, really up to our clients in how much they also would like them to be working while in the home versus just being a dog. I know you guys are, you are homeschooled. So something you could do too is, hey, when I'm in school, I'm working, so Melly's working. Have her vest on her, let her know she's working. But when you get free time from school, Melly gets free time from school too. So it can be a little bit of an adjustment sometimes for our dogs to go from free time to working in the home, but a lot of them pick up on it really, really quickly.
Mhm. Yeah. Another question.
I feel.
Do you have a question?
No, I'm just saying that with that question, since you said that it's up to me about like what I want.
Yep.
I feel that she should be like mostly working all the time, even if her vest is off or on. Like if I fall down, well, we're like, if I have her vest on, then she knows that we might have a little fun time here and there while she has her vest on. But while she has her vest on or off, it's either playtime or work time. So like if I'm like playing with her and she has her vest off and I'm playing with her and I fall down, she would know to like help me up.
Yep.
But we would still be like playing.
Yeah.
In like play mode.
Exactly. And I think that's a really good point. You will go from playing to all of a sudden, oh, I need my dog to work. And she's right there with you to, you give her the command. She goes, okay, it's time to work now. Free time's over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another question that I've had on my mind especially the more I get to know her and the more I hear about her and the more we talk to you guys, Erin and I are very well versed in how critically important the bonding is between Anna and Gemelli, and we are going to foster that 1,000%. And we know, to keep it business for certain things. But, we're very curious about that free time, especially after Anna's asleep at night. If Gemelli wants to stay in bed with her all night, that's perfectly fine. We would never pull her away. But if she does happen to wander out while Anna is sleeping, is that a time when it is safe for us to give her kisses and snuggles? Because gosh, it's going to be hard not to do that.
Oh yeah. Well, since Erin is going to be handling Gemelli, what we talk a lot about with, our families, because you're exactly right. While the dogs are working for the kids, a lot of times it's a parent that's handling the dogs. So what we want to see is that Melly and Anna are best friends, even maybe like siblings. Whereas Melly should view you guys as mom and dad. Mm-hmm. So with you guys, she's going to be told no sometimes. She's going to be put into commands. She's going to have a mom and dad working type relationship with you guys. So she's going to bond to you because just like she's bonded to me, because, I'm her work mom per se. But as long as she is most of the time seeking out Anna, she wants to stay in bed with Anna. Anna's playing with her, loving on her. That bond is going to be super, super strong. And then that allows mom and dad some time to, give snuggles and kisses and all that, sort of stuff. Because she's going to still come to you guys because she views you as mom and dad. Mm-hmm. So that's absolutely fine. As long as when you first get to training, it's just, all about the fun stuff happens with Anna and you guys are more of the business, if, okay, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am type of thing. But then once you guys, Anna and Melly have that bond established, you guys can absolutely give her some love-ins.
Yay. Yeah, we would never do anything to have any problem with that bond. That is the utmost importance. And if it was a hard rule that we could not, do that, then so be it. But man, I look at her face and I just want to kiss her right there on the nose.
Yeah, she has a very kissable face. So
yes, she does. She really does. Some people I see are asking, and I can answer this real quick, but I saw quite a few people asking what happens to Gemelli after she's done being of service to Anna. At that point, she would reach. You want to tell them? Okay.
So everyone who's asking that question, once Gemelli is like done with her like service dog part of her life, she'll retire and then she can become a little family pet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we get to keep her. She'll be in the family and the whole time she's here with us. Okay, let's see. I'm going to look to, unless do you have any more questions?
Not really.
Emily, do you have any questions for us?
When are you leaving? How long's your drive?
We are leaving in 1 week. We
Oh my
have not even started packing. We're going to be gone for a month, so that's a little
Oh
bit
my, yeah.
and we are driving. So this is what we're doing. We are taking our time to drive up and back because
Good.
when we moved down here to Florida, we drove 17 hours straight. I've
Mm-mm.
never done that before in my life. It was a unique situation where we had to hurry up and get here because
Yeah.
Anna was going to have to fly out for a booking out to LA, and we just had to get here so that we could possibly do that. But I will never do that again.
I don't blame you.
So I have vowed that we will not spend more than 6 hours at a time in the
Good.
car when we're traveling. It's not good for us. It's not good for Anna. It's not
Yeah.
good for me. So we're going to take our time. We're going to leave Florida and drive up to Georgia, stay the night. We're going to drive from Georgia to Tennessee, stay the night for a couple nights. We're going to drive from Tennessee to Indiana and stay the night for a couple nights. And then we'll be in Ohio.
Awesome.
And we'll be doing all the training thing and be there with you. And then when we leave there, we're going to drive back to Tennessee into the mountains. We have a place we're going to just enjoy some peace and quiet and nature.
Oh, that'll be
days.
awesome.
And we're going to allow the girls to just bond.
Yeah.
That's going to be all about the girls bonding for those few days.
That'll be beautiful. I've heard nothing but good things about the mountains in Tennessee. So that'll be a great way to decompress from class, I think.
For sure. And we've never been there, and we just want to, take some nice family walks together and just let the girls really get to know each other well. And then we'll leave there and go to South Carolina for a couple of days and do some homeschooling education kind of field trip thing. So Gemelli will get some opportunities to test her training there.
Awesome.
And then we'll come home and she'll get to see her new digs. So it's going to be a long, windy road trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're bringing everyone with us like we always do.
Yep.
Bringing all these people on.
Well, they have been, I'm sure, watching your journey for a long time. So I'm sure they're going to be so excited to see, it all come to fruition. So
yeah, some people have been following along since Anna was about 2.5.
Wow.
So,
amazing.
Been doing this a long time now.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. So let's see. Susan says, does Paws provide ongoing support by phone? So I know that I can reach out to you guys at any time, but what's the official setup for post-training?
Yeah. So, we have what we call check-ins. So after you guys graduate, for the first month you're home with Melly, you will have a weekly check-in with your class lead, Jessica. So it'll just be kind of over Google Meet, a video call, just to make sure, everything's going well. You don't have any questions. If you have questions on some, training stuff, they're there to support you and answer those questions. And then for 6 months after you have Melly, you will have monthly check-ins. But the nice thing about Paws is because the volunteer trainers are super involved, because they raise these dogs. Their trainers I can speak for myself that I view all of the families I've ever trained a dog for as my extended family. So I tell all of you that I am always a resource for you guys if you need anything, if you have questions, if you want to just send pictures, things like that. Like I said, you guys are stuck with me all Melly's working life. Our training director, Jessa, is a good resource to reach out to. Taylor, our client services. I'm sure you guys have had a lot of, back and forth with Taylor. She's fantastic and is always willing to help you guys as well. But we just always really want to foster an environment of our families feeling like they can come to us for just about anything, anytime, no matter if your dog's been working for 7 years and something, has come up. We are here for you throughout the entire working life of your dog and after too, because, a lot of our families come back for a second dog and then we're here for you guys again.
If I was 1 year old and I'm 7 now, she would be working for 7 years.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking for any more questions from Katie wants to know how long a service dog is typically in service.
So I would say it's super dog dependent, but probably on average 8 to 10 years. Some of our dogs don't even want to stop working at 10 years old. But the families are like, you're slowing down a little bit. You can't help with balance quite as much anymore just because you got some old bones in there. And some of the dogs definitely let the families know, hey, I think I'm ready to retire. But I would say on average, it's about 8 to 10 years. And it seems like a shorter, I'm sure for some people, it seems like a shorter amount of time, but because they're so different than just pet dogs, because they are tasking, providing services, working, they can't do it quite as long as, they will live.
Kim says, is it a hard adjustment for the dogs leaving their trainers?
Definitely. So when you guys get to class, you'll probably notice, when any of the dogs that are in your class trainer walks in the room, they are like, oh my goodness, there is my trainer mom. There's my trainer dad. But what I always like to tell the clients is how much you see that the dogs love their trainers is how much they are going to absolutely love you guys one day. So it's definitely hard for them. They've been, Melly's been with me for almost 4 months. So to go to someone brand new, hand over the leash and say, all right, you're with them now. It's hard for the dogs. But within, I'm sure the first 2 nights you take her home, she's always going to love me. She's always going to love Abby and Terry. But she's going to love you too, just as much. So she'll get there, but it's definitely a tough adjustment for them. I would say probably just the first few days though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely going to be, we were talking to Abby about this last night. We're going to be very sensitive to her adjustment period, which I would expect to be,
absolutely
a few weeks, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We'll ease her in. And if she wants to do video chats with you while she's settling in, that's fine.
Absolutely.
We can do that for sure.
You guys can listen to my obnoxious dog voice while I talk to her over the video chat.
Charlotte's curious, what is the hardest task you've ever had to train a service dog to do?
Oh, that's a good question. I wouldn't say any of our tasks are harder than the other. I will say emotionally, it's probably the seizure alert dogs, only because, as you know, you guys film a video of essentially your life so that we can have a good idea. And so what comes with that though is us having to watch children have seizures so that we can make sure we are mimicking the seizures to the best of our ability to train our dogs. So emotionally, I would say it's just really sometimes super hard to watch those videos. It's super rewarding to train the dog, but emotionally, that is a really, really tough thing for me to train.
Okay. Not seeing, let's see, a couple more questions, guys. If you have a question for Emily pertaining to her training, like what she has learned as a trainer, or if you have a question pertaining specifically to Gemelli and Anna, throw them up right now. We'll do a couple more questions and then we're going to let Emily go for the night. I know some folks were asking, I don't know if you know this or if we should maybe try and interview someone in administration when we get there, but people are very curious how the matches are made.
Oh, actually, your class lead makes the matches. So we as senior trainers we're in charge of a class. So I actually just led a class last month, our lavender class. And 6 months before your class, the class lead starts, reading over all of your paperwork, watching all of your videos, just trying to get to know each client in class as best as we possibly can. And then from there, we as the senior trainers have like a meeting where we select dogs to come back and start working for you guys. So that senior trainer that is leading your class leads this decision or this discussion because we know our clients the best out of anybody. And then from there, because we have gone through tons of dogs that are still in fosters, socialization reports. We do evaluations on the dogs before they come to advanced training just to see if they're ready for the next step of advanced training. Maybe they need a little bit longer to work with their foster on something, or maybe they've just decided that pet life is better for them and they become what we call a fabulous flunky. So from there, we have those meetings to say, hey, this is the type of personality, this is the needs that this child, is looking for in their service dog. And from there, that class lead collects the dogs, they come back for training. Sometimes we have some moving around of dogs. Maybe they were like a little bit more energetic than we thought, and they actually work fantastic for this client. Let's switch things around a little bit. But basically, it is the senior trainer that's leading your class, does tons and tons of research, and they're the ones that decide on where the dogs end up. So it's a really rewarding feeling, on top of, just placing our dogs as a senior trainer, kind of getting to see it all come together in the end is a really awesome feeling, because, we spent a ton of time getting to know you guys, getting to know the dogs, and really doing our best to make those matches perfect. So that's kind of how that whole process works.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Chrissy has a good question. She says, so Emily is obviously bigger than Anna. How does the dog adjust to supporting someone so much smaller when they've practiced with someone 2 or 3 times the size?
That's actually a really good question. So there's definitely an adjustment. Melly is probably going to be happy that you're smaller than me, because when we're working on our stand and brace, so that's, helping you get up off the ground, I try my best to put about what your weight would be onto her. But I'm still going to be heavier and bigger than you. So it's just a lot of adjusting to you, getting used to you when you come to training. So that's why those 9 days that you guys are here. And I know for some people that seems like a really long time, but that's why it's so crucial that you guys come to class for as long as you do, because that allows Melly to get used to you versus working with me. And most of the times the trainers will do their best. I would like to say we're pretty good actors, because we try our best to act like the child. I might get down on my hands or on my knees so that I'm shorter, just like you, and push myself up off of her.
We had a little glitch for
we had a really big hiccup
no.
on that end. I don't know if you saw it or if
I did not see it.
Well, hopefully it didn't affect what people were seeing. I'm looking to see if anybody said anything, but it looks like our internet is being really wonky right now. So
did you guys hear everything I said? Do you need me to repeat anything?
I don't know. It depends on if I don't see anyone saying that it's cut out.
Okay.
So it might have just been on our end, and we can always go back and watch it.
Okay.
So okay, so Raya says she heard it clearly on YouTube. So I think we're okay.
Okay.
It's just us.
Cool. So basically I just do my best to be a good actress and try and act as much like the child as I possibly can. So I try to get down like on my knees to be about your height when I'm helping using Melly to get up and off the floor. But it's definitely an adjustment period when you guys come. So that's why those 9-day classes are really critical, because it allows her to get used to, working with you.
Yeah. And I think one last question, and then we'll say goodbye. I've seen people ask, and I was curious about this myself, if there are things over the coming years that, like, little adjustments or things that Aaron wants to kind of teach Gemelli on his own, or like we were talking about the buttons that the dog learned to talk. Like, are we allowed to do that kind of stuff?
Absolutely, you are. As long as you send me videos of all the cool things that he taught Melly, that's the only requirement. I want to see it.
We already found out one of the fun things she's learned is how to play dead. Bang, and how to play dead, which is kind of one of those other ironic things, because we've never done that sort of thing. When my husband joined the family, I'm going to out him right now. He started doing this thing where he just like, we would come into the living room and he'd just be laying there like he's dead. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just joking around. And so then Anna started picking up. I'd come into the living room and both of them would just be laying there like that. So now Gemelli can join in.
Yes, she can. And she's quite a good actress. Abby did a very good job of really like teaching her to lay it on thick. So yeah, now you'll just have three people dead in your living room, apparently.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we have to just, I mean, there's not enough thank yous in the world, Emily, and I'm sure there's going to be many more to come. We can't wait to see you. And
I can't wait to meet you guys.
Hang out with you in person.
Yes.
And it's going to be so emotional and so wonderful.
Yes.
And so good. But we'll see you soon. Just a couple more weeks.
I know. I'm counting down the days.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you so much for everything you do for Paws and for other children. I mean, this is just, it's such a meaningful, purposeful career. I can't even imagine how fulfilled you must feel on a regular.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, don't forget, send a donation over to Paws for Ability so that they can continue doing all this and paying these wonderful, beautiful people like Emily. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.